All right. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Motor Masters Podcast, your host, Main, of course. I am accompanied by my lovely sister to the left of me. I want to first say that, no, this is not the same baby from last time. She is actually re-pregnant.
Re-pregnant is not a thing. I'm just pregnant again.
Got you. Yeah, same thing. So, that's not the same baby. She had a baby. Her is not brown like me. Her is light skin. So yeah, how have things been for you?
Good. This has been a really great pregnancy. So I'm happy, anxious, ready.
Are you saying this is your best pregnancy?
No, Elijah was definitely my best pregnancy.
So Kaveh was not your best pregnancy.
No.
Just got on the record. I don't know Kaveh.
Yes.
You want to see this later on in life? You know, you wasn't her best pregnancy. Hey,
she will know. She know. I tell her all the time. She put me through it.
Okay. Real quick. So, what's some things been going on with you besides being pregnant? I know every time you come on the podcast, you're pregnant. So I don't know. I feel like you just pop in every once in a while. I'm about to pop one out. You popping on the podcast, man. Is that what we doing?
No, just the normal stuff, life stuff. Still got the same great job. I got a promotion.
That's what's up.
So yay for learning and growth, because I definitely got into a whole entire new field. So I've never worked in tech, never worked in housing.
Just so I'm clear,
just knew I needed
not even to cut
job.
you off. Well, yes, to cut you off, but just so I'm clear, you so you're not going to ever do the military. That's not going to be a thing.
No,
because you was in it, you wasn't in it, then you graduated, then you didn't graduate. Like,
yes. So for the record,
I cannot say
I'm probably one of the only people you will ever meet that completed Marine Corps officer candidate training twice, graduated twice, and did not actually accept a commission. So yeah.
Why not?
Well, this last time, I really just felt like the pandemic kind of changed my way of thinking. And if I would have never come home, if I would have never injured my foot and they sent me home to rehab, if they would have kept me on base, I probably wouldn't have seen Elijah for that next year. We were in a pandemic. The base was pretty much shut down. And so just with all that, I kind of just started thinking about it. And I had to start thinking, what kind of job do I want where I can manage and balance my homework life well enough to be a mom, to make enough money, and it like actually spend time with my kids. Even when I was policing, that was kind of one of the main things I didn't like about the job. I loved the job. Everybody always asked me, do you miss it? Yes. Without hesitation, yes. Policing never felt like a job. It feels natural to me. I love doing it. I do not love working 12, 16, 20 plus hours and having to go without seeing my kid. I don't love having to miss things that happen at school because I have to be at work. It's just, and once you get into that sector, it's really, for the most part, just like, oh, well. I've literally had times where you arrest somebody, you don't think it's going to take all day, but I'm supposed to pick Elijah up from daycare at 6 o'clock and I'm still at jail.
So run me through that. I've never been arrested. Run me through that. But run it like you arrest somebody. You worked in MARTA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So run me through how that process works. Working MARTA and arresting somebody, or I guess choosing to arrest somebody. I guess if you tell me paperwork take a long time, it really at the policeman's discretion. Sometimes if you want to go that route.
Yeah. So usually, okay. So you can arrest someone. What most people don't know is you could also choose to detain them or arrest them, and in lieu of sending them to jail, give them a ticket. If that offense is covered and I can just give you a citation for it, which you pay at a later time, cool. There are certain things though that certain crimes you commit, there is no other. You have
it's
to go.
No-brainer.
It's just kind of like you got to go to jail. One instance I remember vividly, and it wasn't the offense. It wasn't anything. I actually arrested this guy probably like 1 p.m. I was really mad because I just got lunch. It was hot too. got some oxtails.
Oh, you had Jamaican food?
Yeah, I was heated. I was like, oh my gosh, bro, you gotta be kidding me. And so I think he ended up assaulting this lady for no reason. Either he punched her and hit her with. He had bought a pair of sneakers. Matter of fact, the sneakers was for his kid. And he smacked her with a bag, and I don't know.
What she did? Why?
Again, she
It don't matter, I guess. It don't really matter.
Exactly. I was just like, I don't know why he did it, but he did it. And, I basically ended up telling him, like, I gotta arrest you. Like, I understand that you're not. He's not negating the fact that he did it. He's saying he did it, but he felt like it wasn't a big deal. I'm like, no, that's
pretty big deal.
You can't. But the sad thing is, and this is just a little side tidbit. When people teach their kids stuff like somebody hit you, hit them back, so knock them out. Some of y'all kids don't let go of that, and so they go into adulthood and they think because somebody say something to them, hurt their feelings. Oh, I'm gonna hit them, I'm gonna push them. No, that's assault now. Now you've taken it up a notch, and now you mad because you gotta go to jail. So what if you and a lady was arguing? You can't hit her with something, because now she wants you to go to jail.
So he hit her about shoes, and then what?
He hit her about shoes, and then they literally stopped the whole train. She called me, so I'm just like, okay, what's going on? And you get there sometimes, you police officer, you think this is a pretty stupid argument. But at the same time, it's just weird because, like, you guys are grown adults. Why did you hit this lady?
Hit in the face or something? Like you just rocked her?
But, it's like, okay, she not bruised. She not being... He probably thinking the same thing. Like, I just tapped.
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep. But I'm just like, as an adult, you have to understand you can't do stuff like that anymore. So, anyway, he wasn't upset about it. He was cool. Okay, you got to arrest me. You can go ahead. We go down to the jail. Apparently, on this day, the judges were having a conference. So even though I'm arresting this person on the victim's word, I still have to go get a warrant. I can't. You technically just don't. I can't just arrest you.
Right.
Like, I have to go and get a warrant. So I get all the paperwork together. I do his property. So everything he got, I got to take the shoes. I got to log them. I could tell him where they're going to be at, where he could get them from when he leave the jail. I do my incident report that just say, hey, at this time I came here. The victim, who is so-and-so, told me this.
The victim is wild.
Yes, the victim
saying
told me this.
The victim is just wild because...
I have another witness who corroborated and said, yes, this happened. And so then I'm waiting. You go in and it's kind of like a little computer system they got because you can do it in person. I don't know if Fulton County does it in person all the time. Most times Fulton County, you do it. It's virtual. So I'm waiting on the judge to call me back. And I realized it went like 3 hours. I'm like, yo.
And you ate your food yet?
No, my food's still back at where I was.
Oxtails on a martyr.
Yeah, so I'm just like, oh, man. And I'm like, what's going on? And then finally, like 4 hours later, and it's 4 o'clock now. I was supposed to get off at 4.
You thought.
Exactly. A judge was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why anybody didn't say anything. The judge is in a conference. That's what took so long. I'm like, everybody? In my mind, I want to go, that's wild and kind of irresponsible. Like, it could have been a serious crime here. You two are in a conference.
Yeah, it's a serious crime, man. Somebody got assaulted.
So I end up telling the judge, whatever, everything. They make you swear in that it's the truth. It's not something you made up, that you really believe that this crime occurred. I'm like, yeah, I do. I got the witnesses. I got everything. So they give me the warrant. On top of getting the warrants, you get those, and then you finally could take them to the jail. Once you get to the jail, you still gotta search them. Then the correction officer at the jail gonna search them again. They're gonna check your paperwork to make sure your paperwork's good. You have to have everything. Certain counties or jails that you bring them to, depending on the crime, you may have to have the warrant and the report. Sometimes you can only have the report and then the warrant can come late. Exactly. Which is why when people always say, like, oh, cops love to arrest...
Just give me a ticket, man.
Look, baby, cops love to arrest people. No, we don't. I definitely don't, because that take a long time. That take a lot of time of my day. You don't understand.
Especially if you're about to get off. Like, come on, man.
And so, but at the time, it was like 1 o'clock. I was like, I have 4 hours. I kind of figured it would be 1, 2, 3. If I would have got the warrant, 1, 2, 3 would have been simple. But it wasn't. Then sometimes you get to the jail and the person that you arrested, you have to wait there until the medical person clears them. If they get there and they say, oh, no, my head hurt, my stomach hurt, they hit me, they beat me, The jail's not gonna take them. The jail gonna tell you, take them to the hospital.
Oh damn! So
And
that's
now
more work you gotta do now.
that's even longer day because now your supervisors.
I'm liable to beat your ass for real now.
You got people asking like, what happened? Why they didn't go to jail? And they be like, they said this. So yeah, I literally remember being there when I was there with this guy at this day. I had to tell the jail, hey, I'm not leaving, but I gotta step outside because you can't bring your phone. You really can't bring any weapons in there. It doesn't matter if you're a police officer coming in to drop somebody off or not, you can't. So I had to tell him, hey, I'm going outside real quick, but I just got to make a phone call because you can't have no phones in here. So I had to literally call. I had to call Asia. It's 6 o'clock. I had to call her because daycare closed at 6:30. And I said, look, I'm not going to be able to pick him up. I need you to pick him up. And she's already 30 minutes away. But she said, no problem. She went to pick Elijah up and everything because I was just like, dang, even if I get out of jail, even if I finish him up, everything's good. They take everything. They take him and tell me I'm good to go in the next 15 minutes. I still got to drive all the way back to the precinct. I got to put my stuff up. I got to log everything. I got to make sure that my supervisor is cool with the report I wrote and hope that I could get to daycare in enough time.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
I probably, knowing me, I probably would never arrest anybody.
Sometimes
you call me Blind Eye Bradley.
As you have a lot of officers that really just be like,
last 20 minutes of my shift?
Yeah, they just be like, just chill, don't. And people don't understand why you be like that. It's just because y'all don't understand. Take is not 1, 2, 3. Like nobody just wants to just arrest people all day. Like it's not a fun thing. It's kind of like.
But the MARTA is wild though. Like, it's a wild place.
Very wild.
A lot of viral videos from the MARTA. So
viral videos, violence, just people doing stuff that just doesn't make sense. But I would say probably one of the most fun, kind of like in growing jobs I've had. Because I always tell people one main difference is it's not traditional policing. People don't, for the most part, people don't call me. I'm not coming to somebody's house. I see people every day. I know their routine. I know what car you drive. I usually know what time you get off work, what time you're going to be on a train, when you coming, when you're going. And you kind of build relationships with these people the more you're there. And like I told people, after being there for like 3 years, it's just kind of like, oh, man, I don't get to see these people no more.
Do you ever see them out and you be like, oh, I remember you from the MARTA?
I've actually seen a couple people.
One lady arrested?
No, not arrested, thankfully. Not arrested, thankfully. One lady I did see, though, she was always homeless and having a lot of
stuff.
She was
driving now?
No, I seen her at the gas station. She was like, I remember you.
She was still homeless?
Yes.
Oh,
but
man.
Doing better, not like... You could tell. A lot of times you're homeless people, we got a large homeless population and you can kind of tell.
So I wanted to, how I want to start it off was not talking about arrest, but now that you bring that up, even how the story goes, it makes you wonder about policing now. Like you bring a good point. Like, do you want to arrest somebody? Is that really what you want to do? Like, do you want to stay over 2 hours of work because somebody hits somebody with a box of shoes? It's kind of wild. But so I saw this post. I sent you some topics, but I saw this post when I was driving. I want to read it and get your thoughts. I'll give you my thoughts on it. Mm-hmm. It says, y'all got to stop blaming women for picking the wrong dad. You get 3 versions of the person you have a kid with. Who they are before the baby, who they are after the baby, and who they are if y'all don't work out. There is no such thing as picking carefully because nobody knows what version of him yet. Or that version of him yet, sorry. Not even him. Only way to not end up a single mom is to not be a mom, period. That's wild. Picking a baby daddy feels too much like Russian roulette. Nobody is safe. I guess I'm gonna let you go first. You're a woman. I want to hear your thoughts on that. I have my own thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts on that. Be gentle, I guess.
That's a lot. I feel like it's really a few different points to touch on. But in a nutshell, I honestly agree. I agree with that, and it really bothers me when instead of somebody holding a man accountable, they tell the woman she should have picked better. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's fair. It took 2 to lay down and have a baby, but yet you're putting it solely on her that she should have just been smarter and you wouldn't be a single mom. We just going to leave that there. That makes no sense.
I agree with that.
Especially because a lot of times the posts that I see and the guys that I see agreeing with it, they definitely have friends that are deadbeat dads. So instead of you just agreeing with the post, how about you tell your homeboy to take care of his kid? It's True. Not hard. It's not. You say it all the time. It's not hard being a father. It's not.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
yeah,
not.
it's not. So it's always just
Not to me,
flabbergasted
yeah.
to me when people be like, well, nah, she knew and she still laid down to him. What did she know?
So, what only thing I can say is this, right? So I shared and I like the pitch. I do like that because I agree with the post to an extent.
Yeah,
and
so
I
that's
said,
what, to an extent.
you still gotta be careful because there's no such thing as you just can't be careful. That's just wild. It's like saying, hey, lay down with anybody and hey, it's his fault if he ain't shit. That's kind of wild. All right. And it says it's a bunch. I said it's a bunch of signs that'll give some form of insight though. What I mean by that is like I'm not saying that you're gonna know how the person's gonna be when you have the baby, but I do feel like as humans we just ignore certain signs because we're ignoring so many other things. So when you do decide, not saying decide because when you have sex with somebody rather, a baby can come of that. That's what it comes down to. So I would say maybe picking sexual partners carefully is, and not even partners so to speak. Like I mean, yes, you want to pick partners carefully, but knowing that this could happen if this happens should be on the table at all times. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Yes. So when people say the women, I think it's because a lot of time, I'm not gonna say all the time. I'm gonna say a lot of time. I hate using percentage and say most because I think that's like a wild percent. I think when somebody say most, I'm thinking 75% and up. I don't know why, but a lot of times it's usually like, hey, the woman, I want to do it, so we're gonna do it now. That's a lot of times. I'm not saying it's not always the time. It's not always.
Yeah.
You know, but you know what I'm
I'll
saying.
Agree with that a lot of times.
So, but it takes two, of course. But if we're talking in this sense of just the dad not being nothing, of course that woman has a decision to say, hey, hold on now, let me think about something. Now. You're supposed to take the dog out, you ain't take the dog out. You're supposed to do this, you ain't do that. You're supposed to protect me this day, you ain't do that. You're supposed to do that, you ain't care about me this time, you ain't did this. Or you think some things they're doing, it's like, hey, are you ready for this? Are you mature enough for this? And I'm not saying that it's on the woman to make the decision, but I would say that should be in the back of your mind. Even sometimes having babies at a young age. I mean, I was 21 when Brooke was born, so to me that's young. At the time, you're not thinking it's young, but it's young. You're not even who you are at 21. Mm-hmm. So I agree the post saying like, you're gonna be one person before the baby, after the baby, and if y'all don't work out, I can get all that. I'm not gonna say you're always gonna be different. The not work out part, definitely for sure. But I think you'll be a different person regardless whether it's a baby or not because you're gonna grow. When you're 20 young, if you're young, you're young. Yeah. It's not like you 35, had a baby, and like, hey, you 35 now. That's kind of you at this point, 21, 22, 23, you all different people. All them ages, you different people, every age. Yeah. So, but I think people don't think about that. I don't like putting on women and saying that they pick wrong. Now, I say this though. If you have multiple kids,
and that's what I was gonna say.
Then I'm like,
it's a lot of different parts to that because I feel like something like that and me saying, okay, you can't say that they didn't pick right or that they picked wrong because if it's their first child, this is the first child this person is having.
Nobody got the answers.
Exactly.
Yeah, nobody got the answers.
So, and it's sad because most people don't understand this doesn't only go for men. There are men who have children with women who cannot cope with motherhood. And they end up either letting a grandmother, sister, this person, that person take care of their kid. And you probably was sitting here thinking, dang, I had a kid with her. She don't even take care of my kid. She can't cope with taking care of the kid like you thought that she would have been able to.
But my only thing was stuff like that, because I like to play devil's advocate, is like, I wonder in them situations, what made you think she could? And for a woman, what made you think he could? You already and I'm not putting on women. I'm just saying like you already knew this man was immature. Mm-hmm. You thought that if you had a baby, the next day he gonna be like, you know what? Hey, I'm a man now.
Yeah, a lot of people do think that. They think that
that's crazy as hell.
They think that, okay, if I tell you we having a baby, you think that in the 9 or 10 months that it takes to grow this child and birth them, something going to click inside this person's head and they're going to understand this is a serious responsibility.
Imagine this though, right? So you 21, y'all 21, you have a kid, right? This man had 20 years on earth. He ain't mature yet, but you think in 9 months he gonna get it right. So it does. I know you've been 20 years being immature playing games, but the next 9 months you tighten up, baby.
It sounds crazy, but women do it. So we're thinking that men should be able to do the same thing, and it doesn't really work like that.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot that comes with taking care of a child.
Definitely, definitely.
I tell my friends who don't have kids all the time, like, there are things that you should be thinking about that you probably don't even think that you should be thinking about, but your child is a blank slate. Yeah. Everything they know how to do or don't know how to do is going to be a direct reflection of you and what you're doing at home or not doing at home. They don't come pre-programmed. It's not common sense. They're not going to figure it out. It's either you're teaching them or you're not. And if you're not teaching them, understand that somebody else is teaching them something. So the habits and things that you don't like and that they pick up from elsewhere is because you're not teaching them. And I had to learn this kind of having Elijah. Like I always tell people, I was 23 when I had my first child. If I would have had a child at any age prior to 23, I would not have been the same parent I am now. Because a lot of the stuff that I was thinking about and understanding about having kids at 23, I did not think about at 22, 21, 19, 8. Didn't.
See, but
you don't take it as I just mentally, and mind you, I have friends who had kids in our teenage years. Same, right? I never thought about it like, wow, like that's really crazy. You actually had a child.
It makes you commend that, but I also think it makes you look at like how, because as kids, I feel like all kids do it, but you kind of judge your parents' parenting sometimes, like, and then when you get in that spot, like, damn, I gotta commend her for doing it. I gotta commend him for, doing this because now you're seeing firsthand what it's like. I always say sometimes it's easy to talk about stuff from afar, even if we're talking right now.
Which is
I don't have that situation where somebody can say, oh, you picked the wrong. I have a good relationship, and she don't have that situation, so we can't speak on it.
Exactly.
Technically speaking, I can only speak from a critical standpoint. I'm criticizing you because you know why? You don't have an active baby father, or you don't have an active kid's dad in your life, and it's because you knew he wasn't. You might didn't know that.
But what's funny is every time I comment on a post like this and I share my opinion that I agree, men always assume that I have a non-active baby father, and I laugh because I just be like, that's not my narrative at all. Yeah. My opinion stems from me knowing that this is a thing. I was like, right. But no, my child's father is very, unfortunately, my child's father is very active. Like I don't have this issue. I don't have the issue of thinking or feeling that I picked wrong. And like I told somebody one day, I'm not gonna say I didn't pick anything, because essentially, I did, because we got married. But I feel like even with us getting married, if for some reason he would have felt like, hey, parenting too hard and just he wanted to leave,
I'm out.
Would I have blamed myself and been like, dang, I picked wrong? Thought he was gonna stick it out. Like,
I think that's why I like these posts. I know she probably thought she got her shit off on this post. Like, I'm not dissing the post, because I mean she's making good points, but it's also so many things she left out. Like,
I was just like, it's just so many variables.
Is good, but then they just give up. Like they everything you think that person is, they are that, but then it's just too much for them. They give up. Like, people get stressed out. I see post women. I mean, that's what I'm gonna get into. We'll get into it now because the post's not that deep. We'll get into it now. Motherhood. I know, like, women like have moments of they catches up. You'll cry. You'll break down. You'll have days where you feel like, damn, I'm doing all I can do, and you probably feel like it's not enough. Mm-hmm. People don't talk about that side of parenting, that side of motherhood, where it's like you are doing everything or a lot of stuff, and you do have help, whatever, or you don't have help, whatever. Regardless of the fact, it just feel like it ain't enough, or you feel like you're not doing enough, and you just feel like you overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But they don't talk about that because it can happen to both sides. And somebody, look, I'm just leaving. Some people don't cry. People just leave. So that post don't speak about that, or the whole, you being young and you just being in love. You not even think about the fact that I'm not looking at no signs of this person about how they can be a dad. I'm just thinking about I'm being with them. I want to be with them. So if you have a family, you're gonna have a baby. I ain't thinking about all the negative and bad stuff about this person because I'm in love.
Exactly. You really only see the good. But on top of really only seeing the good, I do feel like a lot of people aren't really together that long before they have kids.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That's a big thing.
I don't think
you even have enough time to make a decision on what this person is like.
Really know this person. One of my biggest things is I just feel like I didn't meet your family, because
it's a big deal.
Because what do you mean you didn't know their family? So you made a decision to have a kid and you don't know their family? So you thought that it was okay just because You got pregnant and you don't know this To me, that's insanity. Like I just
But I'm gonna bring another side of that. 'Cause I know of somebody who does, or say they did know the person's family who they have a kid with, and he don't do nothing, right? But I don't think you think about when you do in a family, what the family doing? Are they enabling certain behaviors? So whereas
yeah.
when you have a baby, they'll enable him or not even push him to do more because they're gonna do it. You got some families that are just, oh, I'll help you out. Like, no, don't help me out. How about you get him to help me out? Get him to do it.
But see, I hear that argument, and sometimes I just want to ask people like, so do you want help or not? It doesn't matter who does it.
But for the
And I
child, the
get
child doing the dad in life. Your grandma not gonna be your dad though.
I get that. I get that. You can't, but it sounds unfortunate, and it sounds kind of me being like really negative to say it this way, but you can't have it both ways. Unfortunately, you now have a father who is not going to be present. If his family is willing to help, just let the family help. Yes, we understand his family is not who you laid down with. They're not who you procreated with. You probably never expected to be in this relationship with his family and not him. But would you rather them not do anything? So now you don't have him or the family.
You can have both though. Like you might want both. Like we got both. Like our kids, all our kids got they both grandparents, both sides, and the parents. Like you could have both.
But I'm saying,
Right,
coming
you got
from
a brother.
somebody who
You got a
don't
brother.
have,
Let's say me. And I already know because you done did it. Let's say me.
Mhm.
Let's say I'm not doing something like you'll do for the kids, for the girls, but you definitely you also gonna get on my ass and be like, hey, why are you not doing this?
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not saying it's your job to do that, but because you're a family, like you just say, your homeboys, people got
I feel
homeboys
like
who
it's
are
not
dads.
rocket science. Like but
So I feel like
always
women have
tell-
have this feel that we're like, okay, I get y'all doing that, and that's fine. I'm not saying don't do it, but at the same time, I want. Let's say you got a son. Oh, my son to have his dad in his life.
Yeah.
Say you got a little girl. Oh, my girl know what a real man like. Can you
But
do that for her?
sometimes, and I always tell people it's different for me because me, you, and Dawn, we closer.
True.
Now maybe if we wasn't as close, even if I told you, you'd probably be like,
fuck out of here.
Exactly. Like I don't care. My sister. I don't care. My sister told me I should do this. Or I don't care. My sister. Exactly. I don't care. My sister. So some people might have that relationship where they feel like, well, dang, she did tell me my brother doing this, that, and the third. But I guess the only thing that's weird to me is I tell people I can never understand that. Because for me saying I love my brother so much, man, my brother's so close, we this, we that, and it be people like that. But you can't encourage him to be a good father. You can't encourage him to be active. You can't encourage him. Like it's not hard. It's just kind of like I know that I wouldn't want to suffer or feel alone in my parenting.
Mm-hmm.
So in talking to the person you had a child with, she telling me, hey, I feel like this, I would just explain to you, look, this is how we feel as women, because this is how it is. Because you're not a woman. You wouldn't know. But
True.
if I tell you, hey, this is how we feel, and it's a hard thing. It feel lonely. It feel this. You kind of then be like, well, dang, yeah. All right, that make a little more sense. It might just make sense.
Because you're my sister.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you will understand, okay, well, if I don't want my sister going through that, well, I don't know to tell people, why would I want any other woman going through something I don't want to go through?
Mm.
It really wouldn't matter to me who it is. Why would you want that?
True enough.
It just yeah. In a sense, you're right. Families shouldn't enable certain behaviors, but then I also think there are certain people that they family know they're not gonna listen. So the family feels like, well, the very least I could do.
I guess maybe it's that thing that they'll come around. I don't know. People everybody got their own reasons for why they do certain things they do. I'll never understand why, like, say a mom couldn't just tell a son or a sister couldn't tell their brother, hey, do better and be a better father, and the person just do it. But it could be other variables to that too.
Look,
you know how you walk around eggshells on certain things. You got people that's going through certain things. You feel like I ain't gonna say this to that person because on one end, yeah, I want this person to do better and be a better father, whatever, mother, whatever. But at the same time, you don't want to lose that relationship you have with that person of saying something and you lose it. And sometimes people feel like that's more important than, like, you ever had somebody like doing something wrong and you know you can talk to them, but you feel like if you push too much, you'll lose them. So you kind of like, you hover so that you can still like kind of know what they're doing, but it's like you can still, I guess, manage them in a certain way. You can tell when something wrong as opposed to now they're shutting you out. And now you don't know nothing at all. And now that's more dangerous because you shut out now. You don't know what's going on. So I do. I can. I'm not gonna say it has to be this way because I don't know why mom would do that, but I can see that happening. Let's say, for instance, let's say our mom. Let's say she's talking to me, and let's say I shut down. Boom. Now she's like, damn. Okay, I could have got to him at one point. Now I can't get to him at all because I done stepped in.
Yeah,
so next time that happens, I'm just gonna kind of tiptoe around it because
not say nothing.
I prefer to have that relationship with him than him shut me out. So it's a lot that go into that. I can't even just sit here and say that the mom should do, because that's all that's doing is the same thing, saying that because everybody's getting blamed except the person that ain't doing their job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I think is weird. I'm just like, why are you blaming anybody else but the person that's not doing what they're supposed to do? And to be honest, it would be a help even if they did the bare minimum, and they don't do that. It's crazy to me.
I mean, bare minimum is hard to get these days.
That's what be crazy to me. Like, a lot of times these moms be asking you to do the bare minimum.
You know what? That brings me to, like, we talk about mother a little bit. All right, before I get into the next thing, like, you have something or a story or just a thought or a memory that you can think of where, like, have you ever had a time? Because you my sister, I know I have a sister-brother relationship. So, obviously, it's certain things I just won't know. I did see posts the other day about, you said, you had a rough day, you came and you vented about it, you got a hug, it felt better, right? That's a day. You have any days where motherhood you feel like it drained you so much, but then it also maybe gave back to you at the same time? Like, you have a long day, but then at the end of the day, Elijah just might say something to you or hug you, and it's like, damn, it's all worth it. Or you have a day where it's like, it's nothing that the kid did, but you just being a mom, it just kind of drained you. It just kind of took everything out of you.
Yeah, it's a lot of days. I would say probably that whole first, not even year, the first couple of months, maybe like when I became a single mom, was just kind of like, oh, this ain't it. Like this.
You said when you became a single mom?
Yeah, like when me and Elijah's dad first split up, it was just kind of like, because even if you're co-parenting together, what most people don't understand or probably can't understand, this is
when you say most, you mean 75%.
Exactly. No, and I'm just being honest because I live with this person. It's a 2-person household.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't live with nobody else. This was me, this person, and our kid. And to go from that to it just being you and your kid, that literally changes the whole dynamic. When I'm having a rough day, there is no other person to kind of offset.
You pick up slack.
There's nobody to pick up my slack. There's nobody to see, okay, she's not in that great mood. Let me perk her up my mood and play with the kid. There's none of that. So it was just kind of like, oh, dang, I don't know if I like this because I can't really get time to gather myself. And
good day, bad day, good mood, bad mood. You still got stuff you got to do regardless.
You still in line,
and you got to do all of it now.
And your kid, yes, and your kid is on 10, always on. If you met Elijah before,
he's on 12.
Always, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do this with it being just me. And I usually just be thinking like about some of my friends who have been doing it for a while. Like, how do you do this? How? Because even at that time, I'm co-parenting still, so it's not every day.
Right.
It's every day that I have him. But, I get a break. He's going to his dad.
How them breaks feel?
Amazing. That's what I'm like. I get a break. He going to his dad. Cool. Yes, he's going to be there smooth 3 days. I could do self-care. I could kind of get my mind right before it's time for him to come back. And it's just, I don't think people understand. There are literally some moms who don't get not one
ask you that next. Like, what's your thought?
Day.
How do you feel knowing that it's a mom out there who may get a break every other weekend, and even that's like a day and a half. They might pick them up late on Friday, drop off early on Sunday.
That sounds depressing. It sounds like it's just too much. It sounds like you really don't get time to just kind of decompress. I don't care if anybody say you need time to decompress from your kid. Even if it's you leaving out, going to work, because they in school, because you need that time.
For a parent who's going through that, could you, if you have any, because I think you're motivational too, especially on social media, you kind of give a lot of parental nuggets. I feel like that you don't have to do, but you do it based on your life though.
Yeah.
Could you give them like what's some things you think they could do during that time, like to kind of rejuvenate? besides sleep, of course, and lay down. Because most times you gotta think like the thing like Thanksgiving. I feel like that holiday for me is like I get to I'm just resting. I want to lay down. I don't want eat and lay down. I don't want to do nothing else because I have to go back to work anyway. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's kind of what it is for Mother's Day holiday when you kind of get your kid to kind of like
just go and
to someone you trust for one. You know what I'm saying? And then if it's only for a certain amount of time, what do you do in that time frame? Do you go ahead and do laundry and stuff so you can do it unbothered?
see,
do you know?
And that's what I was gonna say. It really just depends because for me, like if when Keenan takes the kids and if it's him and all the kids and I'm just home by myself, I like to get my house together. It's so hard to get the house together when all the kids are there. Because every time you do one thing, one of them come in and mess it up. So it's just kind of like, it really feel like you're not getting nowhere. Like, I'm not getting nowhere cleaning my house. But it's not that. It's just, you got kids.
Why you balled the fist? Like you got upset by like you about to hit somebody.
That's how I feel. I can sweep the floor and Kaveh will come in with chips, Cheerio. I'm like, yo, bro. I just swept. And then now it looked like I didn't do nothing. So that 20 minutes I spent sweeping the whole floor, the living room, everything, and like it was for nothing now. So it's very frustrating. But I know some people, they don't want to clean. Some days, if my house is, I feel like if it's clean enough and the kids are gone, it's just me, I want to take a bath.
What's some forms of self-care for moms?
So this is a good one. And I will say this is a good one because I've actually been doing therapy lately. It's like I've had like maybe 3-4 sessions. I got a really cool, it's a virtual therapist. She's really cool. And we actually just were talking about my self-care things. And she had me write down daily self-care, weekly or bi-weekly self-care, monthly, and then semi-annually or annual self-care. So, I was telling her, well, for my daily self-care, I want to do 10 minutes of yoga, uninterrupted, just 10 minutes. I don't want my kids around. I just want 10 minutes to myself, whether that's in the morning before I start my day or at night when I wind down my day. That's it. I want 10 minutes to read. I'm a reader. I love to read. I'm always getting books.
Always been a reader. Jesus Christ.
I just want 10 minutes.
Very animated reader, by the way.
Like,
the most animated reader I know.
Give me 10 minutes to myself. For the most part, sometimes when I don't get a chance to read to myself, I do read to the kids before bed, but I'm like, I want to read for me just for a little bit, just for 10 minutes. What else did I put on my daily? I had another one, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But for my weekly, I was telling her my weekly or bi-weekly, I want to get my toes done. That's just a relaxing thing. I used to keep my nails done, but small babies, I can't keep my nails done with Kaveh because that used to be my thing. Every 2 weeks, I don't care. Even when I was policing, every 2 weeks like clockwork, I would have my nails done.
What getting your nails and feet done, what feeling does it give y'all?
It's just a relaxing feeling. It makes you feel good because you look good. That I always tell people that was also one of the things I ain't gonna say I picked up on it, but that's one of the things you have to kind of be mindful of when you policing or when you out in the public, you work with the public, because people, how they gonna react to you is really based on how you present yourself. Always had my nails done, always kept my hair cut the way it's supposed to be. Oh, you always just want to look nice and presentable. And honestly, it affects you and your day and how you kind of go about things. Because if you're not feeling your best because you ain't looking your best, now you got attitude, now your mood ain't really in the best place. But it don't just affect that for work. I tell people it affects you in your everyday life when you just, for the most part, letting yourself go.
Okay.
It was a status on Facebook that was going around. A lot of people were saying, what the status says, something about like do stuff for you because you haven't been going out or getting dolled up. It said you've been focusing on being a mom, and a lot of moms do that. They won't get their nails done, they won't get their eyebrows done, they won't get their hair done because they feel like, well, I made sure my kid had everything, and that's all I care about. But you can't fill from an empty cup. At least do one thing for you, just one. I'm not saying it got to be the most expensive thing, but do one thing for you.
I like that. I like that idea.
I tell people
that gives me insight on even when you deal with somebody who got kids and they all super mommed up, or if you got kids with some, you're not say I'm not like even me. I got kids with some, I'm not with them, but if I feel like they've been going hard and stuff, like, hey, go get your nails done, or go get a massage or go get this. Like it's the stuff like you want to do just to make sure they in a good spirit. Because they not in a good spirit, then I guess technically speaking, the parental side won't be good spirited as well.
Exactly. And I think that's a point most people don't realize. And I think most people don't realize that, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on, I can't speak for everybody's relationships with people they have kids with. That's something you always have to think about.
Always, definitely.
It doesn't matter if you're with that person or not. It doesn't matter if you and that person are, quote unquote, in love or not. It's not about that anymore. It's about you wanting to make sure that person is in a good space mentally, emotionally. I say to a certain extent because boundaries, but for the most part, mentally, emotionally, so that they could be the best parent to your kid.
Definitely.
And it's stuff.
As a parent, right? What's a small win for you? I'm gonna go first just so I can give you my idea. But like when I throw out small win, I'm thinking about something that's small. You feel like I'm just from where I came from or what my upbringing. I'm happy that I'm able to be like this because I had it this way. So for me, right, one of the small wins, it seemed like a small thing to most people, it's a big thing to me, or hopefully to you too. It's like, remember when we was younger and like you asked mine for something, and she'd be like, go ask your fucking father. You know what I'm saying? That's a way of not saying no. She ain't saying no, right? But she like, yeah, go ask you, because you know you're not going to ask him.
Either one, she know you're not going to ask
I'm not going to ask him.
Or two, she know you're going to say no.
Yeah, but she don't want to say no.
She don't want to say no.
Or she kind of buys some time so she can say yeah later on. All right, cool. But most times we just didn't ask. I don't know how, maybe you did because you're a daddy's girl. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't ask him.
I'm definitely gonna ask.
What I like is the small one for me is like the fact that I feel like my kids can go to both this equally. Like they'll come to me just as much as they'll go to their mom, or probably come to me more than they go to their mom. I like that.
Probably definitely like that's one. To you more.
Yeah, of course. I like that though. Like I like the fact that nobody can say go ask your dad, and they feel like, oh man, I want to ask him. It's like go ask your dad, like, oh, don't throw me the good time. Give me my phone, let me call him. I like that. That's like, to me, it's like I feel so good, like just knowing that, like based on what I had. Not saying my dad was nothing, but what how I felt coming up. And I'm pretty sure it's a lot of kids that feel the same way. They ask your father, oh, well, okay, if you want to say no, just say no. Mm-hmm. All right, that's a no. Versus ask your father, all right, well, give me your phone, let's call him now, because I know he's gonna say yeah. I like that. It's a small win for me.
Yeah.
In parenting, at least. What's one for you?
Ooh, I would say I ain't gonna say it's hard. I guess because for so long, Elijah's just been my only boy.
Oh yeah,
so definitely. I think we
it's
had,
all new.
Yeah, like we have, the things Elijah wants and needs and stuff he says and asks for are totally different from me as a child. I don't know. I think it's hard for me to answer that, only because I feel like, growing up, we never really went without. So, some people say, oh, I went without this and I went without that, and my kid will never really had that experience. So I don't have a lot of memories of us going without. So, like, obviously, of course, my kid wouldn't go without. But I do tell people, I think my small win for me is that Elijah definitely cares more about things I wouldn't expect him to care about. Like, he's not a materialistic type of kid. And that's just my small win, because I want him to grow into your own person eventually. I feel like he is a little like me in the sense, because I was like that. I never cared about clothes and stuff. But I also just think hearing my child just be comfortable with being himself is probably like my greatest win. I can literally hear him saying it. Like when people ask him, like a lot of people like now ask him about sports and basketball, and he says, yeah, I'm not really into that.
Yeah, he's not a follower.
He does not mind telling you, that's not my thing. But if you want to talk about anime, or you want to talk about the computer camp I went to, we could talk about that. I don't want to talk to you about sports, because sports is not my thing.
He don't remind me of this person, not gonna say that, but you know who I admired when we was younger? That's Kevin.
Yeah.
Like out of Kevin and Deanne, like our neighbors.
Yes.
Because Kevin wasn't athletically inclined at all.
He never
Never
cared.
tried. Never tried.
Exactly. Never
He's like,
was
hey,
like,
look,
let me be like
if you don't
everybody
play
else
with
on the
me,
block.
we're going to do this. Or we ain't playing. All right, hey. So if days I ain't going to play basketball, I'll play with Kevin. We go in and, I guess, play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever. I don't know. Whatever weird game he was playing. But he was himself. And I will respect that. Even as I come up, I respect kids or the people that always been themselves. If you wasn't a tough or a street person, I wouldn't expect you to be that.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be who you was, because I was going to hang with you regardless. You know? I want you to be you. And I like that Elijah too. Like he himself. He himself like 100%.
And I love it, and I tell people it's a little different from how I grew up, because most people, and even you got young kids today, they care about crazy things. Like they know about name brands and kind of what they wearing. And I'm like,
sometimes about that it's a reflection of parenting. I'm not saying it's bad
Elijah
parenting.
is just finding out about Nike. I think that's the only name brand my baby knows. And so it just cracked me up when I hear him refer to something like he referring to Nike as the brand. I'm just like, you just learned about this.
Yeah.
You don't even know what I buy you half the time. You just put it on and you just wear it.
But he's comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah, so it's just funny because now he's trying to like become more aware of it. Like, oh yes, this is a Nike sweater. This is and I'm just like, does it matter? And he knows it doesn't. But I think just seeing him kind of learn, even just being at school and learning certain stuff, I don't know how he is. I love the way he is.
Out of curiosity though, I want like, let's say he gets 12, 13 and he starts to become, a little materialistic. How do you think you'll tackle that then? Like, are you willing to conform that because he came into it on his own, or
just buy him whatever he wants? I feel like I was the same way.
I was gonna say that. That's how
I
you
feel like
were.
A lot of people understand. I didn't start loving. If you know me from high school, I didn't start loving Jordan's name brands. I didn't start loving shopping probably until high school.
Yeah.
And my mom always bought me whatever I asked for because she said I never had to buy you this stuff before.
Yeah.
She was like, you didn't care. You'll wear a pair of Skechers and you happy with that. You wear cheap stuff. Like I just never
You wasn't
cared.
high maintenance with clothing though.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you had clothes, you didn't care.
But until I got into once I got into high school, it was just kind of like, oh wow.
It's more awareness too. You grow into yourself. You start becoming
and you
more
just know what you like.
Yeah.
And I used to just tell mommy, I saw these shoes.
But it becomes your identity. And I think I was gonna say, like, I'm not saying it's bad parenting. I don't want anybody to think I'm saying that as when kids are like very materialistic young. But I feel like it's harder. It ain't harder, but it's not that much growth there because I feel like you kind of making them want to wear that stuff, and now they thinking that's what they want to wear, as opposed to you coming into when you're 13, 12.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I ain't been buying some buy it now. When they get 13, 14, it costs more money then. If you've been buying it their whole life and they ain't been taking care of it, will they really appreciate it when they're 13, 14? Or they just going to be expecting it? And you kind of get, even behavior issues you get around that. Like now you have to use that as a form of punishment. It's like, but I ain't going to talk that. Anyway, I wanted to ask you, and I don't know, I never really asked you this, so I'm going to ask you now, like, your relationship with dad, and we all got our own different kind of relationship with our dad. But I'll ask you, how do you think your relationship with daddy, has helped or hurt, or affected whatever, your choices in men, or did it ever affect that at all?
I think it did. Say that. I think it did. I always tell people, if you ever usually people I date, when we ever get into this conversation, I tell them this. I always feel like I got the best of both worlds with my parents.
Oh, detail that for me.
Because daddy is, growing up, daddy always told me, always have your own. Don't never let no man want to come in and do everything for you. He gonna want to do everything for you, but you don't need, like daddy always just instilled in me, like, I don't never want you to want no man for their money. Get your own stuff. Like you gonna be the woman that kind of you can hold your own.
Mm-hmm.
On the opposite end, mommy always told me, make sure you get a man that got money, got a car. If he gonna come, he gonna take you on a date. He gonna pick you up. Like, so I always tell people, I didn't never want to go with one side or the other. So when I can
see that now, I can see best of both worlds.
Yes, when I was looking for a partner, I'm kind of looking for, can you at least do this and this? Can I kind of mix it together to where, hey, I'm not getting a man, I'm not totally dependent on you, but he's willing to do this.
Right.
Okay, all right, he ain't got a car, but he got a job, or I'm not saying like, you gotta have everything, you gotta come 100%,
Right.
it's life. It don't be like that. But I'm also not saying you about to be a bum and have me do everything. That's just not that's not how that's gonna work. So I always felt like giving like me his perspective on kind of what kind of woman he wanted me to be was like, all right, I want to make sure that I can do stuff for myself. I want to make sure I'm not dependent on nobody. I want to make sure and I always tell people this too, because I got this from mommy too. I'll make sure if I ever have a kid and he said he didn't want to do nothing or he never did nothing, I would not care because I could do it myself. Monetary wise, like obviously we talked about the whole kids needing their father needing time. Monetary wise, I just felt like I don't know when I have to beg nobody to do nothing for my kid, like or for our kid, like. So I always just kind of had that mentality, like, okay, my dad is right. You should plan to have stuff for your own. It's good to have a man to lean on. He never said it's not. It's good to have a man to lean on, but you don't want to always have to lean on that man. Like that's just not something you want. He always was just like, I want you to be a strong woman. I don't want you to have to be leaning on nobody. I don't want you to have to chase nobody for their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
It just don't make sense. Because my dad always thinks somebody trying to chase him for his pockets, even though he's the most frugal man I ever met in life. So I don't know why.
Well, daddy just think everybody at his pockets.
Yes,
so.
like I just don't know why. Like, bro, you don't spend no money. You don't.
I think
never
one time
buy
I called him,
nothing.
he just said I ain't got it. I was like, what are you talking about? Nah, I'm fucking. That didn't happen.
I wouldn't be surprised though.
But daddy, one thing about daddy, he do got this preconceived notion. I don't know how you feel about it, but he said this one day, and he was talking one day. Daddy getting his. I'm like daddy a little bit, because I'll just start talking, but he just talk. So he don't talk often, so you let him just go when he talking. You let him go. It's about 30, 40 minutes. He told his dad, he was like, yeah, man, my dad was just so cheap. I'm like, okay.
Oh, really? Look.
Yeah, all right. He going and he like, yeah, because one thing I say about y'all, man, I spoil your job. Oh, wow. Okay. I looked up spoil real quick, so I wasn't tripping. He's like, I spoil your job. I'm like, yeah. But I let him get his stuff over. I ain't going to be like, no, you didn't do it. I don't go all that. But that was just funny. I'm like, okay. But it also took me out what I was saying earlier, like, sometimes you be like in the space where you only could see like what you want to see a little bit. So like even like we talking earlier, like when somebody have a baby and you in love, you're not thinking about what they can't be or can't do. And I think that sometimes daddy forget that like we didn't really live with him but for so long.
Yes.
So for me, it was I was 7 when he left. So it stopped everything. He told me I stopped at 7. So I'm like, you thinking about 1 through 7, I'm thinking about 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So you think about everything. I used to tell that. I told daddy that when we went to New York to visit when we was 16. And I asked him for this, asked him for that. I think it was like after the third time he said no, I was like, yo, you said no. You say no a lot. That's crazy. And he was like, what you mean? I'm like, every time I ask you to buy something, you keep saying no. Like, I'm not. And I was just, jokingly I said, but I was dead serious. Like, mommy don't tell me no. So I'm not.
Right.
It's a whole new space for me, sir. What do you mean no? Like, you don't have it or something? Like, what's going on? Because I feel like I wasn't asking for nothing crazy. But every time I'm asking you for something, you keep saying no.
No, what's funny about Dad, like I said, he is cheap, but like he'll call you. When he used to call me when I was younger, when I was like 19, and he'll call me sometimes, right? And he'll be like, "Yeah, man, I found this nice little outfit." He tell me that he bought. I'm like, "All right, cool. What that got to do with me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you find me something? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in need of clothes or something like that." So. But what I can say I learned from, like I'm happy. I'm cool with the relationship that we have because like I said, life is how life is, just whatever, right? But I do feel like sometimes I feel like I'm happy that he couldn't be there as much for whatever reason he had going on. I'm kind of happy because then I felt like that made me like be more manly than I needed to be, like for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never had a life where I could be like, I'm just gonna call my dad and ask for it. I never had that in life. Like after 13, 14 years old, that's what I'm saying, Up until then, I always felt like he protected us. But when he had a situation he had, of course, after that, it was just like, all right, well, since I was grown when he came, when we seen daddy again. I was grown.
Yeah.
And I've never been like, oh, I can call daddy and, he gonna take care of this.
But you want to know what's crazy? Is me and him talked about this like maybe a couple months ago. And he asked me like what I meant, and I told him I was like, this is an actual conversation. I'm not making this up. I told him I said, I don't want you to take offense, Dad, but I don't think you really understand how your absence affected how your two sons grew up. I was like, it's different for me and you. I'm a daddy's girl. I always make sure I call you. I always make sure we talk. Your sons is not gonna do the same thing. They boys and they're pretty much growing into men. They're not gonna call you and ask you for nothing. They're not gonna call you have those kind of conversations. And I told him, I was like, you are. I told him, I said, I think you forgetting that you not being there. Like you didn't really teach them how to be men. You didn't do that. I said, you didn't teach them how to be fathers. And I told him, I'm not saying this to hurt your feelings or nothing like that. It's just, I don't think that's something you think about.
Yeah, I don't think either.
I told him, I told him, I said, I just don't think that's something you think about. He's just like, what you mean? I'm like, because you feel like they should just, again, like I said, know how to do this stuff.
Well, so the thing with Dad, like I said, I love him. He's my dad. Can't not love him. But like, yeah, I'm with you on that. Like I said, Dad, when all that stuff happened, it was about my 12, 13-year-old. He wasn't even who he was. He wasn't him no more at that age. So you think, for me, I always look at it like the hardest years of my life was without him. You know what I'm saying? So then we change. Well, I got 2 years of just hard stuff, and I couldn't really call him. Hey, Dad, this is going on. I got this going on. Like, and he has that street sense where he could have helped me with a lot of stuff. Then we moved down here, whatever, cool. It's a whole different environment, but you still change. Everything's on your own. It's all doing on your own. You know what I'm saying? Everything is just, ain't no more dad now. It's just like, ain't got no big brother. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you got to handle it. So, yeah, I guess me being old, I never thought to call daddy because for about 8-7 years, I would never call him.
Call you, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not mad at him for that. Stuff that I'm mad at him for is more so dealing with my kids more than me. I feel like, I'm cool with what we have because I know he had certain situations that he just couldn't control, and that's fine. I'm not going to, do him for that, but I don't like him coming around and then leaving, like, because then they get attached to him,
Yeah.
And
me and him had that conversation.
But I don't think he see that when I'm talking to him, so I can't leave it alone. But like even now, I send him pictures and he won't respond. I ain't talked to Daddy in about 2 years.
I ain't gonna say I don't.
I've texted him, but he don't call me back and text me back at all.
But a lot of times, and I had to tell him that when Elijah was first born, it's a hard thing. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, it's a really hard thing trying to build a healthy relationship with your parent when you're trying to set boundaries, and it's like they're not understanding the boundary. And I told him when Elijah was first born, like, you like to pop in and pop out. Because remember, before Elijah was born, I hadn't talked to Daddy in months. He didn't even know I was pregnant. He didn't find out I was pregnant until I was like 6-7 months. And then, when Elijah was born, all of a sudden I was like, oh, I want to come. I want to see my grandson. I want to be here. And like I told him, I am perfectly fine with you being here. I am perfectly fine with you coming to visit. But the whole popping in and out thing, I don't think that's healthy for my child.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I don't want anybody doing that. I was like, because especially, and we had called Daddy to tell him, might have been happy birthday. And he didn't answer the phone. And Daddy didn't answer us for months after that. And I told him, like,
that's Daddy, bro.
I told him, like, don't ever do that again. Because my kid was very excited to talk to you and call you and tell you happy birthday. And he didn't forget that we called you. He did not forget that we left you a message. He kept wondering why you didn't call us back so that he could formally tell you happy birthday.
So I want to tell a story real quick. And it's not a bad daddy thing. I promise not. I never did it in my life. I love him to death. But I don't remember. I don't know what winter it is. It's a winter. It's winter time, right? We in Fort Greene projects. Me, you, Messiah, Dawn, Jeremy. We strangled out some money. I forgot how we did it. We just got some money somehow. You had some change. I had some change. We walk around Fort Greene in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it's the project. I hate the projects. I hate the projects. So we go to, of all places, Dwayne Reed over there. I don't know why we went to this Dwayne Reed store. It's always expensive. Trying to find Daddy a card. Trying to find a stamp. We sign a card. We do this. We put the stuff in the mail. This is December. It's December. You know what I'm saying? I think I told Daddy again maybe in January. And I think I told Shauna this story one time, and she always laughed about it. Like, we joke about, child trauma stuff, but she joked, and I ain't mad at it, but whatever, cool. So I told Daddy one day. I said, "Yo, Daddy, did you get the birthday card?" He's like, "Yeah, I got it." And that pissed me off. I'm like, bro, it was so cold for us to be doing all that to get you a gift, like, what I'm saying, to get you a birthday card, a gift, and you didn't even call us to say, "Hey, I got the card." We spoke in Daddy's birthday is December 27th. We spoke in January. I happened to ask, like, "Yo, do you get that card?" And I think about it because, I got it. Went through to get it. You know what I'm saying? Then another story, like, I was grown when Daddy came back around when he was able to rather. I don't want to talk like he was gone. He had a situation, but so I was calling him. I'm talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm calling him. All right, he answered. So one day he called me. It's like months later. I swear to God, months later, we still live in Santa Monica, so that's to tell you how young I was. I go, "Yo, man, I was calling for like weeks, what's going on?" Like, that's my first thing saying to him. He's like, "Yeah, man, what's up, though? Like, what's..."
Yo,
bro, but I think, honestly, like, and anybody that know me, I think that's, and I feel like J. Cole got this line, and I'm not saying Daddy ain't shit. I'm not saying that, but J. Cole got this line in the song. He was talking to his stepdad. He's like, tell that punk don't call me, you ain't shit, and that's getting rubbed off on me. And I ain't saying Daddy ain't, but I think a lot of his ways rubbed off on me, just because I think naturally we are alike. So sometimes that's why I always scale back, and I'm always like more super calm when I'm doing stuff. I'm like, all right, let me make sure I'm picturing what they're talking about, what we're talking about, so that they don't ever feel like I'm not really there. I'm there, but I'm not there. That's why sometimes when mommy get mad, she's like, "You leave the kids with me." Like, no, I want to be with them. I remember when Daddy used to come pick us up, but we'd be in Nana the whole time.
Oh, I'm not.
So we couldn't bond with Daddy because we with Nana. Like,
you said two things is the key, and dads. A lot of people, I ain't gonna say. I'm not even gonna put it on dads. I don't know a whole bunch of my friends or women who do this, but I do know a lot of dads who do this. Yo, you gotta be present. Like, be present. Like you said, your kids are talking to you. They're trying to engage with you. They want to play with you. And you are so busy doing other stuff.
Word.
And it makes no sense. Or like you said, you getting them, but you letting them be with their grandma. Or you letting them be. They want to spend time with you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to grow up and remember the fact, like you said, most of the time, I tell people, most of the time, spending time with my dad wasn't spending time with my dad. Spending time with my nana.
But I feel like I don't end a bad note. Well, I will say this: I give you some positives of my dad real quick because I don't want to be that person. But
no, my dad
was funny because
he's a great dad. It's just reflecting on me as a parent and like
I'm gonna say great. He was a good dad. I ain't gonna overdo it now.
Elijah's dad is. I'm just like, yeah, no. Daddy was a good dad, but I also have to, it was crazy. I also have to think about often that it don't really be clicking for me.
What's that?
Mommy and Daddy was real young, like they was kids.
But that's why a lot of my points I made earlier was based off them.
We used to have fun with our parents, and that's because
they was kids. They was kids
like us. Like my
Daddy was 19, mom was 20.
They used to be racing us in laundry bed. Like we had fun, and I'm just like, dang, I don't parent like that. Like, I don't parent like a kid. I feel like I'd be trying to.
Now I'm a jokester. I like
you
joking.
Joke, but see, you was 21 when you had bro. I guess I was 23 when I had Elijah. I was just kind of really like thinking like, okay, get this parenting thing. These are boxes you got to check off and stuff. So that's how I was. But mommy and daddy, I feel like a lot of stuff, and you do see it with young parents now. They don't think about a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff ain't on their radar. Yeah. They ain't really worried about it. It's just kind of like, hey, my kid up, they alive. I'm clothing them. All right, you good. Yeah. Like, you good. I'm feeding you. You cool. There are no other levels of thinking that that I feel like mommy and daddy did for the most part. They was just like, hey, Christmas gonna be good. Hey,
So yeah, we had some
refrigerator full.
I'll say we had some good times. Like so, and I just want to give a good story with that. Cause I don't want to say like he's bad, but I got good stories. Don't get me wrong, he got some wild ones, but the good ones. Like one time we bought some pizza. All right, so for some reason he wanted to buy. You know, in New York you can get pizza delivered to you, pizza shops, whatever. So you know, you got Home Alone. I like the movie Home Alone. So at one time he goes to the door in a robe. You know, he said keep the change. So Daddy was like, yo, go get your robe, You know what I'm saying? Get your robe. So I go get my robe, put it on. He had this like little. I had this kid like it's like a smoke thing.
Like a pipe. Like yeah, like
this kid. He put it in. He's like, yeah. So he doing stuff to me, right? So he's like, hey, practice this. Say this. Keep the change. So I did like he changed. Like no. He said nah. Do this. Keep the change. So I went downstairs. That's what I did. I know that nigga was like, nigga, if you get your little ass out my face. But I just remember that, like I said, but he's funny. He was funny, but
Daddy is like I could literally imagine Daddy doing this because he played all day.
Yeah,
like even when I think about going to Daddy's house and movies and stuff we watch, I'm like, yo, Dad, why did you want to watch it?
One day he picked us up. He made about Malcolm X. Like for what reason?
Remember, Daddy used to be obsessed about Lion King 1.5. Why did you buy this?
That's the worst one. That's the worst one. Like, that's the worst Lion King.
Yo, bro, we not watching this day. Nobody wants to watch it.
One day we had a half day and he picked us up. And sometime we gonna chill. We go to Nan house. So you know, like we said, Nan house is like we going to chill. Nana wasn't there. Nobody was like, whoa. What is this?
Mad.
Why are we with you?
Son,
he put on Malcolm X documentary for all things.
Talk about we need to learn about our history.
I'm like, yeah, take me back to school for the other half of the day. I'm good, but I'm not staying here today. I'm not doing it, bro. And we all went to sleep. Just like, for what? We were gonna be quiet anyway. But yeah, that was a funny dude, man. Yeah. But yeah, man, I know you got stuff to do. I ain't gonna hold you up. But I wanted to talk to you, you know, got a baby coming on. You know it's a boy or girl?
Yeah, but I'm not telling you.
All right, we're not telling you again. There's always some kind of surprise, some elements of surprise with her when she's pregnant. I don't know, like you just know she's pregnant, you know. Or you don't know sometimes, who knows, but yeah. Yeah, man, this was dope, man. I would say someone that could find you at, but you're not really a fond person. You're just a regular Joe. Yeah. Regular Joe.
Just regular.
Shake your dreads or something. Oh wow, never mind, don't do that.
Why y'all hating on me? That's crazy.
No, I'm not. It just ain't shaking.
It's moving. Look at that. Stop playing. Elijah really tried me the other day.
Nah, he killing you. He killing you.
No, and why would he say that though? He really was in the bathroom like, yeah, but it's not as long as mine, mommy. I was like, why'd you just come for me like
mommy,
that?
do this.
So then I pulled it. I'm like, you don't see that? He told me, yeah, but look at this.
Yeah, Elijah got you. He killing you now, man. He's killing you, man. But yeah, it's a dope conversation. We gotta have more when you come down. When you're not pregnant too, maybe.
Yeah, the next time I'll be here.
Come on,
the baby will be here. No. This gonna be the last one. It's a good number.
I think you've been in the podcast one time and you wasn't pregnant. And then you really wasn't on because you left midway through the pod episode. It was an audio version. So.
I don't recall.
Yeah. But yeah, good conversation, man. Hopefully, you know, the daddy part don't take out of context. I know we kind of would. I just thought we would get, but we don't speak about that stuff. Like we always speak around a lot of that stuff because we don't have bash our parent sessions on the phone.
But I feel like you gotta be honest about that stuff. Because if you don't be honest about it, you can't just put it to the back of your head.
Bro. I made a peace with that when I was 13. So
I was like, you can't just put it to the back of your head and then you don't really be thinking about the fact that, actually, yeah, when I was little, this did kind of bother me. Or actually, yeah, when I was little, this did happen. Like, if it happened, it happened. But like,
that's why I like having them combos with Brooke because I feel like, but I also feel like this. One thing I can say about Daddy for real, I will say this, and I know we don't speak on it often. Yeah, when he wasn't around when I needed him the most for whatever reason, but he said so many things when you was younger that you couldn't understand until he was older.
Yes.
So a lot of that did stick with me. So I even though I said he wasn't there, I always tell people he was there, just not physically. I had to reach and pull from conversation because Daddy just pull over and start talking to you.
Oh my gosh!
But now
I'm on some philosophical
they was
stuff.
young.
You like, yo, what you do it?
So how old are you now?
30.
So think about when you was 27. You just having a bad day. You just having a day. Like think about that. We was experiencing that with our parents, bro. Like Daddy was just pulling over, like having a bad day at 27. Like bro, he ain't saying bro, of course. You know he just talking. He asked me, yo, you think I wish your mom was 4-page letter. You think I should give it to her? Nope. You know, but I'm like,
say, yeah,
I'm making grown men decisions that day. Like, yeah, probably not, Dad.
You should say, yeah.
I think that's the guy she with now. I ain't saying that, but in my mind, I'm like, probably not, bro. But that is a funny character, man. Funny character. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna hold you. So I know you gotta get out of here. Nice talking to you. Okay.
Thanks, bro.
We just end it like that. Okay?
Thanks, bro. Okay.
All right.